Why does the poor keep getting poorer and the rich keeps getting richer? It is more expensive to be poor than to be rich in the society today. What I mean is, in a society that has both rich and poor people, when poor people go to buy the same things that rich people buy, they spend more money. These and other systemic reasons keeps the poor getting poorer and the rich richer. So in this video, we are sharing 7 systemic reasons why the poor keeps getting poorer and the rich keeps getting richer. This is why you should never aspire to remain poor. Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Obed. Here we'll talk about personal finance and wealth building. So today we are sharing why it is very expensive to be poor in our society today and what makes it difficult for poor people to climb out of the shackles of poverty. Now let's dive in. Number one is high interest loans for the poor. You see, the poor rely on payday loans, credit cards, buy now, pay later loans, unlike the rich people. And this type of loans are very expensive. The interest rates are astronomical, and this traps them in a circle of debt. It is the poor people that are in need of this type of debt. The rich, they don't need payday loans. And even if they need loans, they are basically business loans. And these loans have lower interest rates. So it is the poor that are trapped with the demon of high interest payday loans and buy now, pay later loans. Even when the poor people go for these business loans, the interest they are charged is still way higher than what rich people pay. This is because they are considered as not credit worthy, unlike the rich people that have better credit ratings and also have collaterals to offset their loans. So poor people are basically considered as very risky to lend money to, and because of that, they pay way higher interest, and these interest rates are choking on the poor, keeping them consistently down and always paying off debts for a very long time. This eats up their income and even their business profits. This is one reason why poor people find it difficult to climb and why the rich keeps getting richer, because they don't spend so much on debt servicing. The second reason is that the rich buys quality items that last longer. You see, wealthy people can afford to pay more in order to buy quality, durable items, whether they are gadgets or even clothes and fashion items. Most of the time, the more quality and durable ones are costlier, and only rich people can afford them. The poor, even if they will prefer the durable ones, they may not afford them. And for that reason, they go for the cheaper ones. But these cheaper ones wear and tear within a short time. And so, in the long run, the poor must have bought multiples of that same item that the rich bought only once. Maybe a shoe that can last for 10, 15 years for a rich person until he even gives it away. Costs way more to purchase the initial period. But that poor person that could not afford that shoe bought a cheaper one, and within that 15-year period, he must have bought maybe 10 to 15 different shoes of that same quality and ended up paying way more than the wealthy person paid for that one pair of shoes. And that goes for many other items. The rich can afford the quality, durable ones, and the poor, even if they desire them, they are forced to go with the cheaper, less durable ones. And in the long run, they spend more on these everyday items. That is one way it is very expensive to be poor. Now, the third reason is that the rich can afford to buy in bulk, and buying in bulk saves them money in the long run. It is the poor that are forced to buy at the retail prices, while the rich can buy in bulk and save a lot of money. And by buying in bulk, they also qualify for discounts and coupons that poor people that buy in singles and in retails cannot qualify for. This single concept is what makes rich people spend way less in everyday purchases like groceries and other items. This is called the economics of scale. The more you buy, the lesser the cost. But if you can't afford to buy that many, that means you have to bear the cost of the original price. This is one way it is very expensive to be poor, because you will have to buy at the exact original price, whether it is groceries, household items, or even subscriptions. You will realize that for some subscriptions that are monthly, if you pay monthly, you pay the exact price. If you pay quarterly, you can get some discount up to even 30 to 50%. And if you pay yearly, you may get even up to 70% discount with some subscriptions. And it is only someone who has the money to pay for that one yearly subscription that gets that kind of discount. But the poor that does not have the money at hand cannot afford that yearly subscription, and for that reason he will have to pay the high price of monthly subscription. So over time he's paying way more than the rich person is paying for the same subscription and the same service. That is how poverty can be expensive. The fourth reason is quality relationships and tools. You see, rich people often network with high net worth individuals and have access to opportunities for collaborations and insider knowledge. They have access to better education and information, elite schools, mentors, and financial literacy tools that will make them more money and give them better financial opportunities. The poor are surrounded by poor people who do not know how and cannot help them out of poverty. They network with the same set of people, they go to the same kind of school with fellow poor people who can barely help them out of their situation. So this perpetuates their poverty. So the rich have access to better networks, better education, better information, and more opportunities for growth in life and in finances, while the poor are surrounded by poor people who may not be of very serious need to him when it comes to rising financially. This is one way poverty is perpetuated as well as wealth is perpetuated. The fifth reason is opportunity to invest early. You see, rich people can afford to start investing early because they have that extra cash. Poor people do not have the spare cash to invest because they always spend all on bills and expenses. Even when the poor want to invest, but they can't because there are more pressing needs demanding their income. So the rich gets to start investing and early also, thereby taking advantage of the time effect of compound interest and wealth building, while the poor will have to wait for a very long time till they sort out their immediate financial needs before they even think of investing. And by that time, the rich people have already gone way ahead in investing. Their money has compounded a lot. If you understand compound interest, you know that it is a function of time. The earlier you start investing, the better. So the rich do not have a lot of financial pressure and expenses to sort out as much as the poor, and so they can afford to start investing. This is one way the rich goes ahead of the poor, and if not circumvented, the poor will keep getting poorer and the rich keeps getting richer. The sixth reason is because of low financial stress that enables better financial decisions. You see, it goes without saying that if you are not stressed financially with daily living, bills, rent, and expenses, you will have time to think about well building and how to acquire financial independence. Constant thinking and worrying about finances impairs your decision making. The rich can afford to think long term and think hard about wealth building, but the poor, because they are encumbered with daily living expenses and worries about bills and rent, they do not have the time and the mental clarity to sit down and think clearly about wealth building. This gives the rich the upper hand when it comes to wealth building. Having your immediate financial needs sorted grants you focus and time to think clearly and make long-term financial plans and execute them accurately. So the poor will need to sort out themselves as quickly as possible so that they are not bogged down with daily expenses and so that they can think clearly and solve financial problems that will pull them out of poverty. The seventh reason is that tax benefits favor the wealthy. The poor typically pays more tax than rich people. Income tax, especially earned income tax, has the highest tax percentage, and it is the poor that mostly get their income from earnings, that is salary and wages. The income type that the rich use the most is business profits and investment returns. And these income types have the least tax on them. So the tax on business profits and investment returns is way less than on earned income and salaries. So when there are any tax breaks, it's mostly on businesses. And who are the ones that enjoy these breaks? The rich. So if there are any tax breaks and loopholes, it is usually the rich that own these businesses and investments that have access to them and that can enjoy them. The poor usually have to pay the highest price when it comes to taxes. So even if the rich may be paying more in actual amount, but when it comes to the percentage of the income that is taxed, it is the poor that is paying the most tax. And they are the ones bearing the brunt, the full brunt of taxes. So this is also one way that the rich keeps getting richer and the poor keeps getting poorer, which is why everyone should, as much as possible, try to leave the poverty range. If these seven systemic problems are plaguing the poor, it then means that the poor will need to find a way to extricate themselves from these problems, find a way to avoid debts, especially high interest debts, buy quality and durable items, even if you may need to pay more, buy things in bulk, especially if you can afford, build quality relationships, and access elite informations and education that will help in your wealth building journey. Start investing early and accumulating wealth. Be interested in financial education. Think long term, be able to solve financial problems and not be bogged down with current financial problems. And then find a way to benefit from tax breaks and not having to pay the ultimate price. And that may involve you getting involved in businesses and investments, multiple streams of income, so that your entire income is not from salaries and earned income that is taxed the most. These are ways you can help yourself come out of financial struggles and become one of the rich people that do not have to pay the ultimate for living in our society. Please like this video and do subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos on personal finance and well-being. See you in this next video.